So, you're interested in hypnobirth. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my experience with this program right here. So stick around. Hello everybody, my name is Jeanette Gennaro. I'm a mother of two, soon to be three, and I'm a personal trainer. I'm the creator of The Naked Formula, a wellness education program that helps you strip your lifestyle so you can simplify every area of your life. In this video series, I am making a video for every week of my pregnancy, and in those videos, I am breaking down a different topic to help simplify this time of your life so you can enjoy it as much as possible. Feel free to leave your questions and comments down below so we can all learn from each other and just share this wonderful experience. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience with Hypnobirth, specifically with the program Hypnobabies, which is the one that I used. I first heard about Hypnobirth through these classes I was taking at a birth center. I delivered my first baby in a hospital, but I still had a great relationship with this birth center, and I would turn to them with questions, and as I mentioned, I took a series of 4 classes that they offered. They didn't specifically recommend a program, but I came across Hypnobabies just from searching different programs online. I like this one because I was able to work on it at my own pace. I need to look at them now to see if they've updated it, but when I purchased it in 2015, they sold it to me in a CD format, which is pretty outdated. I had to plug in a drive onto my laptop to be able to download the tracks and then upload them onto my phone so I could listen to them through there. But I'm going to take a look. Maybe they're offering, directly streaming onto your phone, which would be much more convenient. The program also came with a book, which was actually my favorite part of the whole program. I read the whole thing. I loved it because it explained everything that you need to know about your labor and delivery. I wanted to know exactly what was going on, so when I felt those sensations in my body, I wanted to know what it was I was feeling. Me personally, it helps me cope with the experience if I can visualize what's happening inside of my body. And this book helped me do that. It also touched a little bit on nutrition and whatnot, so that was good as well. For baby number 1, I was able to do as instructed in the program and just lie down quietly and put in my headphones and just listen to all the tracks. I'm going to be honest with you, that is not something that you could do in the middle of the day when you have other kids. There's no way that you can just kind of like shut everything out unless you have somebody at home watching the kids. So if you have other kids around, this is something that you might have to do at nighttime, but warning, you may fall asleep, because whenever I tried to listen to them at nighttime, without fail, I would just fall asleep. So you're supposed to listen to them, all of them, and it helps you, start to just visualize what the experience is going to be like and just practice the type of visualizations that you're going to be doing in the moment. And then you're also supposed to listen to them while you are in the labor process. Now let's get down to how that worked out for me the first time. The program tells you, once you start feeling that discomfort, you put in the headphones and you get into that headspace. But I wasn't able to do that because I couldn't even believe that I was at that point yet. My husband's like, oh, so does it still feel kind of mild? I'm like, no, it's definitely feeling intense. So I go home and I'm like, okay, let me get into, let me get into my zone. So I tried filling up the tub with water and I just played, the track through a Bluetooth speaker, and I'm listening to it, and I just cannot get into the rhythm because it's just starting to feel more and more intense. And I just started getting into my head. I started thinking, oh my goodness, how much worse is it going to get? What's going to happen? Can I handle this? And I just got really nervous. If you've been watching my videos, like I told you, have a plan, but plan to be flexible with it, okay? Nature throws some curveballs at you, and you just have to go with it. So it's good to plan, but just don't let that plan give you anxiety if you feel like it's not going as you planned. And the program was telling you just visualize yourself, basically not feeling anything from the top of your head to the middle of your thighs. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it all the way down to my knees. What the heck? I wasn't planning for this. But anyways, so he said it was like, it escalated pretty quickly. So I try to, go into the shower. But again, my contractions, I felt them a lot in my quads. When you think about it, the uterus is contracting, and, our body's just all connected. When you have, which the uterus is a giant muscle. Think about the shape of a hot air balloon. That's like your uterus. You have that top part, which is contracting, squeezing, and then it helps lift up the sides and create a larger opening at the cervix. And all of that contraction, it could lead to feeling cramps in your back, or down my legs in my experience. So I was not prepared for that. And I'm in the shower at this point. I turned off the tape, not the tape. I turned off the the audio, and I was just trying to focus on that. But again, I got into my head, and I kept on thinking, how much worse is it going to get? How much worse is it going to get? This isn't what I was thinking. What's happening? Why am I feeling it in my quads? I would describe it as if you're lifting heavy weights, you get like a little burning sensation in your muscles. It was like that, but it wouldn't let up. It would, stay there for a few seconds, and then it would let up and then start up again. So it was a similar sensation that I felt, when lifting heavy weights. But, when that's the case, you push through it and then you're done. Whereas this, it was just longer than what I had experienced in the gym. Eventually, made it into the labor and delivery area. And by this point, the discomfort was intense, but I was okay with it because I was able to walk around. They bring me in to my room, and unfortunately, this hospital, they just, they don't want to let you do anything like walking around or whatnot because they're afraid of, the liability of you falling. So I had to be on the bed, and I said, okay, can I at least be on the bed but turn around on my hands and knees? And they said, no, you have to lie down. And that just made me feel very claustrophobic because, my body is just, contracting, and I want to be able to move the way that, my muscles are moving. And to me, it was, kind of being in that crouched over position, which on your back, it felt awful. It felt absolutely awful because I wanted to just be able to like crouch over, and that's not something I could do lying on my back. So that got me really nervous. And at this point, the contractions are getting really intense, and they checked me, and I'm 6.5 centimeters dilated. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to take forever. That really got me nervous. So when the nurse came in and she said, you're going to have an epidural, right? My answer was yes, because I thought, why the heck not? I am really, really nervous about how much worse this is going to get. I feel like there's just fire on my quadriceps, and I can't even do the things I was doing at home, as in like walking around and just getting on my hands and knees. So yes, give me that epidural. So I took the epidural, and even then I still continued listening to the Hypno Babies, because the reaction that I had with the epidural was my whole body was shaking, and that just made me very nervous to feel myself like that. So I had that in to try to help calm me down. So that was my experience the first time with Hypnobirth. Basically, I could not get into the zone, and I ended up going with an epidural, and that was that. And if that happens to you, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, baby number 2. At this point, I knew what the sensation felt like. So I thought to myself, okay, I can do this. So I used the concepts that the book taught me, but I made it my own. For example, the tracks have a very lovely classical music soundtrack playing in the background, but that was a large contrast to what I was feeling. So it almost got a little bit annoying to hear that soft music when that's not what I was feeling inside. I was feeling like there was like a volcano, or like the hurricane, just like a bunch of energy inside of me. And for me personally, trying to suppress that with calm music, that wasn't gonna work. So for baby number 2, my plan was, I'm gonna put on belly dancing music, because that, rhythmic and, like deep drum sound, that's, I think, what's gonna help me. So for baby number 2, I did not listen to the tracks at all during the labor and delivery. Okay, I had already practiced how to visualize, different things to visualize, so the program was definitely helpful in that aspect. And again, the book, extremely helpful. So with baby number 2, I show up to the hospital with a TENS unit, which I'm going to talk about in a future video. But basically, it just sends like a electric pulse. And the research is still out. They don't know if it actually helps or if it's a placebo effect, but whatever it was, I liked feeling like I had that control of pressing a button and getting that, little electric wave in the back muscles. But anyways, so I show up with my TENS unit and my phone with my headphones and an exercise ball. Because after the first experience, it's a great doctor, great hospital, but it's not what I wanted. So I switched over to another practice, which was much more laid back and open-minded to, for example, letting me not have an IV and letting me walk around. And the hospital, the same thing. They were much more, as long as your doctor's okay with it, they're okay with it. You just need to get the clearance from your doctor. But I check in, and they let me have my exercise ball with me. In fact, they even had some available in the hospital. So I had that with me, and they let me walk around the grounds in the hospital. There was a beautiful lake that we walked around. At about 5.5 centimeters, I didn't want to go outside anymore, and I stayed in the room. And I was bouncing, gently bouncing on my exercise ball. I was in my own little world, but I had on my headphones, and I just was listening to that really, rhythmic music, kind of like bouncing along with it, swaying my hips, to it. And I would feel the contractions again, like I have felt before, but this time I knew what they felt like. And it's just like, basically, like, think about a Charlie horse, how you get like a strong muscle cramp. Like, you've probably already experienced them in your calves, because it happens a lot during pregnancy. Basically like that. It could either be in your back, on the front pelvic area, or in my case, down the hips and the quadriceps. So what I visualized was, I would picture it getting more and more intense. And then once it hit the peak and it would go down, it actually felt good. Now, it felt good because I felt like, yes, I did it. I got over this one. Not that like it felt good, but emotionally I felt victorious. Every single time I hit like a new peak and then it'd go down, I was like, yes, I did it. Bring on the next one. So again, I think like just like that music just helped with that. Experiencing it before helped with that. So again, I used what the program taught me, but I was not listening to the tracks as the program tells you to do during the labor process. That was my experience. I did the program as they say, you know, listen to it certain times per week, read through the book. When it came time to actually implement it, I just couldn't. I could not. I don't know if it was because he was born a little bit early, because I wasn't home and I didn't have the program with me to just start listening to it. But the first time I could not follow it exactly. And I got very nervous and I ended up getting a epidural, which is fine, completely fine. So yeah, first time, you know, just couldn't get into the headspace. Second time, made the program my own. I already had practiced the visualizations. I already had all the knowledge that the program gave me, but I gave it my own spin. I listened to the music that I wanted to listen to, and I did whatever visualizations. I didn't have, you know, anyone's voice being streamed. It was just in that moment, whatever I wanted to visualize or, you know, tell myself or whatever music, and I loved it. So the program, do I recommend it? Yes, I recommend it because it's just one other tool for you to have for that time. Do I feel like you need to follow it exactly? No. As everything else in life, treat it like a buffet. Take whatever it is that you like. If you see something that you don't like, you don't need to put it on your plate. So, you know, let me know if there's any other programs out there similar to Hypnobabies that you've done. Let me know if you haven't done any sort of hypnobirth programs, but you still implemented visualization in your labor and delivery process. Let me know what your experience has been. If you want to sit there and listen to the tracks because that works for you, great. If the calming music helps calm you down, perfect. But if in the moment you want something that matches your mood and your energy a little bit more, go ahead and throw on whatever it is that you want to listen to. But you could still implement what you learned. So there you have it, guys. In the future, I will be discussing specifically what my experience was using an epidural and what my experience was like having an unmedicated birth. But for now, let me know if you have any questions about week 22 or about this program or any other topics that you would like me to cover in the weeks to come. We are getting closer. I can hardly wait to hold this baby girl in my arms. So I hope you guys are having a great week, and it was great to have you guys stop by. See you next week. Bye.